Hi everyone, it's Sarah, and in today's video we're going to be showing my session of solo no-filling, and towards the end I have one of my better games and I will talk you guys through that as well. But a quick context for why I'm doing this video. This is relevant, I promise. I grew up with narcissistic parents, and the way that I grew up, I was expected to be perfect, essentially, and as an only child I was expected to do everything right the first time, or else I was a failure. And whenever I made a mistake, I was very heavily punished for it by my parents. So taking that into adulthood, I felt like me making mistakes felt like the worst thing ever and that I wasn't supposed to be making mistakes. And I had a talk with Daz. The way we learn the best is by making mistakes because we learn from them very quickly what to do and what not to do. Because of how I grew up, I just wasn't allowing myself to be okay with making mistakes. So the reason I'm doing this on my alt account is because I just wanted an account where I could freely do whatever I wanted in the game without the stress of people knowing that it is associated with serasleepy. And obviously after this video you guys are gonna know what my alt account's name is, so whatever. Let's get into the video. So for these recordings I just muted my mic so I wouldn't stress myself out over thinking I had to talk. I just wanted to voice these over later. I'm trying to fight this team in here, but they're holding hands and I just decide to go heal. But my mistake was healing outside. I should have found a floor in the building where I could heal and just run around again if they find me. Because another team shows up. I forgot to make a note that there was another team on the other side of Fragment because I did hear the shooting earlier. Should have just ran away here, but I decided to stick it out. And I die because the other teammate swings in. So for these spins, I usually try to land off-center so I can use the side as cover when I grab a gun if there's another person. Unfortunately, two landed on me and one decided to just punch me off, so I leave. So I did get guns and I heard a bunch of fighting here, which is perfect for me as a solo. I do down one and I decide to peek a different angle because I'm trying to be better at that. I thought this Wraith would come back inside through this other door on the right here. Instead I run into someone else. And I decide to zipline jump around just so I don't take as much damage. And I hear someone else behind me, so I quickly shield swap and go to a different floor. I was very confident that I could hit my shots against this person, so I just kind of turned on them here. So I'm kind of embarrassed by this, but this is the whole point of the video, is just be okay with my mistakes. I thought I could pop a Phoenix while like jumping onto the floor below me. Instead, I fell the entire way and they were down there and then I died. So this one was kind of weird because I heard 4 people underneath me in this building, but they were somehow just not running into each other. There was 2 below me and then 2 on this other side that I'm about to shoot here. And they were just avoiding each other somehow until I took those shots there, and that's when they started fighting. I decided to climb up here after they cleaned up that fight because I heard someone up here, and I take way too much damage here because it's out in the open. I thought they would stick the res and I could reset, but he decides to push me because that was the right thing to do. I need to be more mindful of my health pool and how much damage I'm taking when I'm solo no-filling, because the second teammate always comes. I didn't get landed on this time, which is amazing. I ran into this Valkyrie here, was able to down her because she was really low. I decided to thirst her and fully committed once her teammate came behind me for the shield swap. Apparently he was low too, and then I got shot at by another team and I decided to drop down here, but I never got to fully heal up. I should have played this a lot more patiently, I think. I decided to peek out and then I got bopped. I decided to hot drop estates and I ran into this person. I feel like I could have pushed them if I just pulled out my second gun. I have this problem a lot where I would rather reload my primary gun instead of just swap to my other gun. So I'm gonna work on that. Even though I won this encounter, I kind of walked into the middle of an open room. If she did beam me, I would have been dead there. But she decided to run away then come back. So I did a lot of damage initially here. But this Bangalore played it really well. She dropped back down after climbing up, and I stupidly followed her, and I whiffed so many shots. So well played on her part. Don't do what I did, but I know for next time, so. Alright, this is one of the better games that I had this day. I decided to push into this Bangalore smoke because I heard shooting here. Probably don't do this in case they have a digi threat, but I didn't hear anything in the smoke, so I kind of felt okay about pushing up. I miss a bunch of my shots here, unfortunately, so they get away. And then I cut out a bunch of me just running around trying to find them again because they were being really squirrely and weird. I did crack one at the crafter here, but I don't think there's anything that I could have done about this because they were both on there. If I ran out into the open, I definitely would have gotten fried. I just needed to down one there with my shots, but I didn't. So I just backed up and decided to heal, and then I get randomly pushed by this Horizon here. And I really don't understand when people say I have bot lobbies because this Horizon tap strafed in front of me. And I was on my alt account, mind you, so I'm still getting sweaty people. I did down her, and this Gibby I assumed was her teammate with the knowledge I had at the time. Like, why would the Gibby just randomly land there by himself? I decided to wide peek him, as you saw. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Luckily, I had a Wraith Q to get out this time. And I see him slowly inching towards the banner because I kind of deduced that he was the teammate. And then he bubbled to get the banner and her loot, I'm assuming, so I decided to be very patient about this one. I know that he knows I'm here, and I try to take some shots at him and miss. I actually didn't mean to do this, but I think he thought that I ported, so it made him comfortable to walk up. So I learned something by doing it on accident. I rotated over towards the waterfall, and I never used a sight on the wingman. I was just trying something new. You guys know I usually iron sight the wingman because I don't like to rely on finding sights sometimes. I wasn't sure how many people were here exactly, but this Wraith decided to phase at me for some reason, and I did down her, but I can't finish her off or fight the other person because I'm really low health, so I just decided to heal up and leave because they did get her up afterwards. I did rotate to Hammond and ran into another person. Again, I'm not really used to this sight on the wingman because I never really use it. It's really good that I was catching people off guard, so I did the initial damage to them, and then even if they do damage back to me, I've already done a significant amount of damage more to them. So I downed the one in Thirst because I need shield healing desperately. He had some cells, but no one had any batteries this game, and it was kind of frustrating. Again, I'm just trying to poke and do as much damage as I can to these teams without letting them know that I'm by myself. And I realized that I was making a little too much noise on this side and that someone could potentially run up on me. So after these grenades, I decided to just back up after doing a little more damage. And someone did, in fact, run behind me and I heard their port or whatever. So now I'm just listening for audio. Kind of guessed where she would peek me, and it ended up working. I know there was two here, but I felt like I did a significant amount of damage, and then I had my Q to get out anyways. So that's what I did. I was kind of in shambles here, because I completely ran out of shield healing, and I could not find any. No one had any batteries that I was downing and fighting. I shield swapped here. There was two more people there, so I decided to bail on that. Because I just didn't want to fight two people at the same time. I decided to shield swap on this box because the blue armor was better than the white one. This Rampart team was out here for the entire duration of this fight at Hammond, by the way, and we'll run into them later. So I was running around Hammond for a bit, and I really needed this person's loot, but I don't end up downing them, unfortunately, because they were just running me around for a while. I think a lot of what I learned is to just keep taking different angles after you shoot from one angle for a bit, just to keep throwing off the enemy. I need to get better in ranked, especially about taking more optimal angles. And this person just keeps shooting me. I try to take as little damage as possible because I just don't have any shield healing at all. Since they threw the smoke out, I decided to run away from that room because I didn't want to get trapped there. I did find a Phoenix kit earlier, which I don't know where I got that. Probably from a box. But I just keep kind of running around Hammond because I don't want to get confined in any one space for too long. Again, I don't want these teams to realize that I am a solo and I'm waiting for them to fight. I took a lot of damage here, so I decide to heal away and hope that there's an armor on this box, and there was. When I'm soloing, I make a mental note of where death boxes are and where potential armor swaps will be. I kind of decided to go out here to heal for a bit in case someone ran up on me there. And we can see this Rampart team still at Terminal. So the reason that I was so comfortable to push back into Hammond was because I knew this Rampart team had been out here this entire time anyways, and they weren't pushing at all. So I pushed back into Hammond. I knew they weren't going to push me. Managed to down her really quick as her teammate ran up, and I play this cover here and just keep ducking back down so that they can't shoot me in. My hitbox is really small. As you see through that little window there, the other team dropped down to get that person, so I just decide to let them go. I don't push eagerly in because I know I will die to them. So I did get the swap and tried to loot her quickly before I leave. One of the teams dies back here, and then I have the information that there's that Rampart team at Terminal, and then the one team that's behind me that just killed the other team, and then there's me left. And I try to make a play here. Realistically here, I should have just waited for these teams to start fighting each other, but I tried to make a play here. Granted, in a really bad spot. If it ended up being a mistake, then whatever, at least I tried something, right? I'm kind of just trying to confuse them here about where exactly I am. And then I hear her pull out Sheila, so I figure that her teammate might be isolated, but I did get shot in the head. Took a lot of damage here. I did down her, but essentially I ended up being one, and I'm hoping so badly here that they don't see me in this little corner, and I almost got the battery off, but I didn't. Again, my mistake there was just pushing up without being patient. But I feel like overall that was a good round for me to just try something. So what I hope you guys gain from this is if you do record your own gameplay and you review your VODs and review your deaths, I hope you guys can start to see what you could have done better in a scenario and look at it objectively. Ask yourself, with the information I had at this time, what could I have done better in this scenario? Could I have played the cover better? Did I take too much damage? Did I wide swing too far? And what I'm learning is there's no reason to be upset at yourself if you make a mistake, especially if you're solo no-filling. You're already putting yourself at a disadvantage against these other teams because you're forcing yourself to 1v2 or 1v3 teams, depending on if you're playing duos or trios no-fill. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, please let me know in the comments below if you want me to do more of this. I've been playing solo even more now just so I have more hours by myself to improve on my own, and if you want me to record it and go over it with you guys, I can do that gladly. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video.